serving the Republic of the Philippines for more than 75 years. Ito po ang Presidential Broadcast Service.
From the Presidential Palace, Manila, Dateline Malacañang.
Good day, this is Dateline Malacañang, and here are the news. Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. has brought home not only billions of pesos worth of investment pledges in the Philippines, but has also brought over 200,000 job opportunities for the Filipino people from his official foreign trips from the last quarter of 2022 until 2023. In its update on investment leads from the presidential and state visits of President Marcos, the Philippine Department of Trade and Industry or DTI said that the president's visit last year generated 7,100 job opportunities from Indonesia on September 4 to 6. At least 14,932 from Singapore on September 6 to 7, and 98,000 from New York on September 18 to 24. President Marcos also brought home 5,500 job opportunities from his visit to Thailand on November 16 to 17, at least 6,480 from his visit to Belgium on December 11 to 14, and 730 from the Netherlands on December 15 to 17, a department investment mission, according to the DTI. For 2023, the DTI noted that President Marcos' visit to China on January 3 to 5 has resulted in 32,722 employment. 24,000 job opportunities from his visit to Japan from February 8 to 12, 6,386 from his visit in Washington, D.C. on April 30 to May 4, and 8,365 from Malaysia on July 25 to 27. The president's visit to Singapore on September 14 to 17 also generated 450 job opportunities. The 2,550 employment from his visit to the U.S. on November 14 to 17, and 15,750 employment from his visit to Japan on December 15 to 18. Presidential Advisor on Investment and Economic Affairs Frederick Go earlier said that 169 billion pesos worth of investment pledges from President Marcos' state visit in Japan have already been actualized, providing thousands of job opportunities to Filipinos.
Dateline Malacañang.
The presidential and state visits of Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. this year have resulted in 5.28 billion US dollars or 294 billion Philippine peso worth of actualized investments, according to the Department of Trade and Industry or DTI. DTI Board of Investments or BOI Undersecretary Seferino Rodolfo said that President Marcos' foreign trips have actualized 4.89 billion US dollars or 227.72 billion Philippine peso investments for 8 projects. 790.58 million US dollars or 44.2 billion Philippine peso for 11 projects, and 398.17 million US dollars or 22.17 billion Philippine peso for 9 projects as of December 21. Undersecretary Rodolfo said that the investment pledges committed to President Marcos in his official foreign trips that were actualized into projects have already been registered with investment promotion agencies such as the BOI and the Philippine Economic Zone Authority or PEZA. Rodolfo said some of these projects have short gestation periods and are already fully operational and employing full-time Filipinos, producing goods or delivering services, and some are already setting up or expanding their facilities but are nevertheless already employing Filipinos as they already have set up or expanded their offices and physical presence in the Philippines. President Marcos said that 2023 is a year of structural changes, which are essential for the country's recovery from all economic challenges left by the COVID-19 pandemic, as he vowed to continue the modernization of the government in 2024.
Dateline Malacañang.
The Trade Department reported 4.19 trillion Philippine peso based on December 22 BSP rate, or 72.178 billion US dollars worth of investments in various investment stages as a result of the Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.'s foreign visits. The Department of Trade and Industry, or DTI, said the 4 trillion pesos investment value is comprised of 148 projects according to its December 21, 2023 monitoring of consolidated and processed investments. The DTI described those investments as business, investment promotion agency, or IPA registered with operation at 205.53 million US dollars, or 11.4 billion pesos, business or IPA registered at 54.75 billion pesos, IPA registration in progress operations at 282.8 billion pesos, signed agreement with clear financial project value at 544.152 billion pesos, signed memorandum of understanding or letter of intent or the MOUs and LOIs at 1.588 trillion pesos, and confirmed investment not covered by MOUs or LOIs and still in the planning stage at 1.522 trillion pesos. The DTI said it is also monitoring 20 projects which have been green-lighted and registered with the IPAs of the DTI, Board of Investments or BOI, and the Philippine Economic Zone Authority or PEZA. These investments, realized and in the pipeline, are mostly in the sectors of manufacturing, IT/BPM, renewable energy, data centers, and telecommunications, the Trade Department said. It added that the business engagements during the President's visit to Japan for the ASEAN-Japan Commemorative Summit were added in the monitoring, adding 263.8 million US dollars or 14 billion pesos to the total value and 9 investments to the total number of projects. The DTI reported that there were 3 signed agreements with clear financial project value worth 85.7 million US dollars and 6 MOU or LOI valued at 178.1 million US dollars. In DTI's December 14 update, it said a presidential visit to the United States for the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation or APEC leaders meeting in San Francisco was added in its monitoring, adding 672.3 million US dollars or 37.2 billion pesos to the total value and 6 to the total project. These include 400 million US dollars or 2.2 billion Philippine peso investment in telecommunications, 2 million US dollars or 110 million Philippine pesos, artificial intelligence or AI, 250 million US dollars or 13 billion pesos for manufacturing, and 20 million US dollars or 1.1 billion Philippine peso for health, sciences or pharma manufacturing, health services, 300,000 US dollars or 16 million Philippine peso for energy, and an undisclosed amount for another investment in health sciences or pharma manufacturing or health services. Those projects are composed of signed agreements with clear financial value and MOU or LOI.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. has issued Executive Order or EO number 50, which maintains the temporary modification of rates of import duty on rice, corn, and meat products to ensure affordable prices of the goods amid the looming effects of El Niño phenomenon and the African swine fever. In issuing the EO, President Marcos cited the negative impact of the El Niño on the rice and production of rice and corn, or on the price and production of rice and corn, and the continuing prevalence of African swine fever, and a trade restriction in some exporting countries that will affect prices of the basic commodities. Executive Secretary Lucas Bersamin signed the 6-page EO on December 22. President Marcos said that the present economic condition of the Philippines warrants the extension of the application of the reduced tariff rates on rice, corn, and meat of swine products to sustain affordable prices in the market. Under Section 1608 of the Republic Act No. 10863, or the Customs Modernization and Tariff Act, the President is empowered to increase, reduce, or remove existing rates of import duty in the interest of general welfare and national security and upon the recommendation of the National Economic and Development Authority or NEDA. The NEDA board endorsed a temporary extension of the Reduced Most Favored Nation or MFN rates on December 14, 2023 under Executive Order No. 10 on rice, corn, and meat of swine, fresh, chilled, or frozen until December 31, 2024. A copy of Executive Order No. 50 is accessible in the Official Gazette where the rates of import duty are stated as Annex A. The President ordered the NEDA Committee on Tariff and Related Matters to submit its findings and recommendations on the same semestral and annual review of tariff rates, including analyses and monitoring of the subject commodities.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. has ordered national government agencies or NGAs to conduct an analysis on the operationalization of the Full Devolution Initiative and come up with a list of functions that should be devolved to the local government units or LGUs. In a meeting held at the Malacañang Palace last week, President Marcos cited the need to first define and determine the priority core functions and services that should be devolved to the LGUs. The funding and schedule of implementation of the functions and services based on LGU capacity and in accordance with the minimum standards set by NGA shall be determined after coming with a definition and after determining the functions and services of the LGUs. President Marcos ordered the National Economic and Development Authority or NEDA to conduct a sensitivity analysis on the most that the government can gain from its investments, which include the functions and services to be performed by the LGUs. The NEDA is also tasked to recommend ways to better implement a phased-in devolution, including its timeline based on LGU capacity, which is in addition to the ongoing study on the determinants of functions and services that should performed by the NG and devolved to LGUs. President Marcos ordered the NEDA to complete the study and submit it to the Office of the President by end of February 2024. The President also ordered the Department of Interior and Local Government or DILG, in collaboration with the Union of Local Authorities of the Philippines, to come up with a list of basic functions and services that the LGU should be performing based on their devolution transition plans and of the national government. The DILG is given until January 2024 to present to the President the list by January 2024 or a month earlier than the analysis report of the NEDA.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. has issued proclamation numbers 429 and 430 naming and renaming at least 8 Philippine National Police or PNP camps and real properties to honor former police officers for their exemplary service. A two-page proclamation number 429, signed by Executive Secretary Lucas P. Bersamin on December 20, said, "It is fitting to give honor to former police officers who have shown exemplary service and dedication in serving the provinces and municipalities where they were assigned." The President named the donated lot to the PNP in Pasacao, Camarines Sur as Camp Brigadier General Ludovico Padilla Arejola. The donated lot to the PRO 5 as Camp Captain Salvador Haushan del Rosario Sr. and the Camarines Sur Police Provincial Office as Camp Colonel Juan Querubin Miranda. The President also named the 50th Maneuver Company Regional Mobile Force Battalion 5 as Camp Police Max Jim Ramirez Tria, while he renamed the Camp Efigenio C. Navarro PRO Mimaropa Headquarters as Camp Brigadier General Efigenio C. Navarro. In a separate issuance, Proclamation number 430, the Police Regional Officer 12 of General Santos City was renamed Camp General Paulino T. Santos. Police Regional Office 12 and the Biliran Police Provincial Office as Camp Private Andres P. Dadizon, Police Regional Office 8, respectively. The President also named Camarines Sur 1st Provincial Mobile Force Company Headquarters as Camp 2 Lieutenant Carlos or 2nd Lieutenant Carlos Rafael Paz Imperial, Police Regional Office 5. In naming and renaming PNP camps and properties, President Marcos cited Section 2 of the Republic Act number 10086, or the Strengthening People's Nationalism Through Philippine History Act, which strengthens people's nationalism, love of country, and respect for its heroes and pride for people's accomplishments. Copies of Proclamation numbers 429 and 430 are available on the official Gazette.
Dateline Malacañang.
In other news, the year 2023 has proven to be a smooth sailing journey for the Philippine Navy's or PN's modernization program aimed at acquiring state-of-the-art assets that would help protect the country's vast waters from various threats. 3 years from now, the Navy will have 2 missile corvettes that would backstop its 2 Jose Rizal class-guided missile frigates now in service, the BRP Jose Rizal and the BRP Antonio Luna. This came after the keel laying for the first corvette and the steel cutting rights for the second corvette were held at Hyundai Heavy Industries Incorporated or HHI shipyard in Ulsan, South Korea on November 22, witnessed by ranking PN officials, led by Flag Officer in Command Vice Admiral Toribio Adachi Jr. The first missile corvette is scheduled to be delivered by 2025, while the second is in 2026. PN spokesperson Captain Benjo Negranza earlier said the steel cutting ceremony and the keel laying ceremony of the corvette signify the start of the production process of the 2 corvettes. These ships will boost the naval defense capabilities of the PN, adding value to its thrust of becoming a modern and multi-capable navy. In naval parlance, steel cutting signifies the start of the construction of the ship, while keel laying refers to the building of the ship's backbone. The Department of National Defense or DND signed a 28 billion pesos contract with HHI for the acquisition of 2 brand new corvettes for the PN on December 27, 2021. These missile corvettes are also more heavily armed than their predecessors. These corvettes would be equipped with state-of-the-art weapons, sensors, and systems capable of performing anti-air, anti-surface, and anti-submarine warfare operations. These missile corvettes can operate independently or work together with other modern warships within a so-called Surface Action Group. Former Defense Secretary Delphine Lorenzana earlier said the agency was able to meet its target of having the PN Corvette Lot 1 acquisition project contract signed before the end of 2021 despite the delays caused by the coronavirus disease 2019 or COVID-19 pandemic. The Navy is also expecting the completion of its acquisition of 9 Fast Attack Interdiction Craft or FAIC platform orders from Israel Shipyards Limited, as 2 more were delivered to the Philippine Fleet or PF on November 18. Once accepted and commissioned into service, the PN will have 6 FAICs in its inventory. The 2 newest FAICs, also known as the Acero class gunboats, were delivered to the PF through the general cargo ship Cogre Royal and are now at the Commodore East Posadas Wharf in Cavite City for enhancement, maintenance, and training. The platforms will be commissioned as PG-906 and PG-907 under the Acero class patrol vessels of the PF Littoral Combat Force. The delivery is part of the FAIC acquisition project of the Revised Armed Forces of the Philippines Modernization Program Horizon 2. Contracted with Israel Shipyards Limited includes a total of 9 platforms and transfer of technology to bolster the PN shipbuilding capability. The first 2 Acero-class gunboats, BRP Nestor Acero PG-901 and BRP Lolinato Toong PG-902, were delivered in September 2022 and commissioned in November of the same year. The 3rd and 4th FAICs, BRP Hener Tinangag PG-903 and BRP Domingo del Buana PG-905 were delivered in April and commissioned the following month. The remaining 3 Acero-class gunboats are expected to be constructed and delivered within the next 2 years. 4 of the FAICs will be armed with non-line-of-sight missiles with pinpoint accuracy at a range of 25 kilometers, while the other 5 will be armed with Typhoon-mounted 30mm main cannons and .50 caliber heavy machine guns. The acquisition of the FAICs is among the 2019 projects approved by former President Rodrigo Duterte under the Horizon 2 list of the AFP Modernization Program. The notice of award for the FAICM project, worth around 10 billion pesos, was issued on January 5, 2021.
Dateline Malacañang.
The Armed Forces of the Philippines, or AFP, on Tuesday reiterated that the country is not starting a fight of the West or at the West Philippine Sea, or WPS, opposite to what China has stated that the Philippines has violated China's sovereignty in the contested waters. In an interview, AFP spokesperson Colonel Medel Aguilar said that all activities of the government in the region is in accordance with international law. Aguilar said that the country has the obligation to keep the region clean and make sure the safety of fishermen in the area. The AFP spokesperson said that the Philippines is not conducting any activity that would harm those passing through the area, unlike the Chinese Coast Guards, who are conducting shadowing, dangerous maneuvers, using water cannons, and sometimes result into collision at sea. Aguilar added that in accordance with international law, specifically the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, or UNCLOS, this is the only way to peacefully resolve maritime disputes.
Dateline Malacañang.
The Philippines National Security Council, or NSC, said that the Philippines is not closing its doors when it comes to having dialogues over the disputes in the West Philippine Sea, or WPS. Despite this, the NSC reiterated that it will only be successful if China would stop its aggressive behavior and illegal actions that put the peace and security in the region into uncertainty. According to NSC Assistant Director General Jonathan Malaya, nobody believes the narratives of China with regards to its so-called 10-line claim over the region, and no country have ever stated its support to this. Malaya also reiterated that the tensions in the WPS as rooted on China's continued disregard to international law, specifically the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, or UNCLOS, and the 2016 Arbitral Award. The Assistant Director General added that the world would say that the Philippines is not the one who is abusing, taunting, and is aggressive at the WPS. In fact, it is clear that China is doing this. Talks would be successful, according to Malaya, if there would be sincerity on both sides of the Philippines and China.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine Senator Sherwin Gatchalian said that the 2024 national budget will address the hopes of many Filipinos of a good new year. The senator was referring to the Pulse Asia survey that said 92% of Filipino adults have high hopes of a better 2024. According to Gatchalian, under the new budget, more funds has been allotted for the agriculture sector. This means, he said, that more help is expected to aid farmers and fisher folks in the country. Senator Gatchalian said that the education sector continues to hold the highest share of the national fund. Furthermore, the lawmaker also expects the continued building of infrastructures like railways and other projects that will help improve the lives of Filipinos. Gatchalian said that if these infrastructure projects were to continue, this will result into more jobs for the Filipino people.
Dateline Malacañang.
Headline inflation likely stayed at 4.1% in December as global oil prices continue to decline, an economist said. Headline inflation further eased to 4.1% in November, just slightly higher than the government's 2 to 4% target range. Rizal Commercial Banking Corporation or RCBC Chief Economist Michael Ricafort said the stronger peso exchange rate against the US dollar could help reduce importation costs and overall inflation. Inflation can settle within the government's target provided that there will be no escalation of geopolitical risks, particularly on the Israel-Hamas war, and the potential effects on world oil prices. Ricafort said the easing inflation in recent months would allow the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas to maintain policy rates. The BSP has so far kept policy rates unchanged for 2 consecutive meetings. At present, the BSP's target reverse repurchase rate is at 6.50%, while the interest rates on the overnight deposit and lending facilities are at 6% and 7%, respectively.
Dateline Malacañang.
In other news, the Philippine Department of Health or DOH on Tuesday reported 24 new cases related to fireworks, bringing the total tally of injuries to 52. In its latest case bulletin, the DOH said the additional injuries included 5 cases of amputations, 3 minors and 2 adults, resulting in lost or mangled fingers and hands. They are all males who used illegal boga, plapla, 5-star and Goodbye Philippines fireworks, and the legal whistle bomb. The top 3 regions which logged the most number of cases are the National Capital Region with 20 or 38% of the total tally, Central Luzon with 6 cases or 12%, and Soxargen with 5 cases or 10%. The DOH has also acknowledged the efforts of the Philippine National Police or PNP, particularly its crackdown on prohibited firecrackers and indiscriminate use of firearms. Meanwhile, the PNP said it has so far arrested 8 violators due to the illegal possession, use, or sale of banned firecrackers worth 190,390 pesos. In a separate interview, Lieutenant Arturo Garingan of the PNP Firearms and Explosives Office or FEO said they are also working with the anti-cybercrime group and other stakeholders in cracking down on illegal firecrackers sold online. Online sellers of illegal firecrackers would face charges for violation of RA 7183 and RA 10175 or the Cybercrime Prevention Act of 2012. Meanwhile, the Bureau of Fire Protection or BFP said a 20% increase in fire-reported incidents from January to December 24 this year. In a television interview, BFP spokesperson Fire Superintendent Anli Atienza said 15,679 fire incidents were reported in this period compared with 12,000 incidents in the same period last year. Atienza appealed to the public to always check their power lines and electric systems to avoid fire. She also urged them to coordinate with the BFP to identify the fire hazards in their respective areas. The BFP has raised the red alert status for the New Year revelry, which means no personnel would be allowed to go on leave to ensure a full response to emergencies. It would also increase the visibility of its personnel in public places, especially in transportation terminals, churches, malls, and major establishments nationwide.
Dateline Malacañang.
The Philippine Bureau of Immigration, or BI, on Tuesday said it has logged over 161,000 arrivals in the country during the Christmas weekend. In a news release, Immigration Commissioner Norman Tancinco said a total of 161,664 passengers arrived in the country from December 23 to December 25. Of the number, nearly 81% of the passengers arrived via the Ninoy Aquino International Airport. Tancinco also reported that 130,497 passengers departed the country in the same period. Before the coronavirus pandemic, the BI saw an average of 55,000 daily arrivals during December. It also recorded an average of 47,000 departures in December 2019. The BI has earlier implemented measures to ensure efficient processing of arriving and departing passengers during the peak season. It has also urged arriving Filipinos to use the e-gates for faster immigration clearance and reminded passengers to register via the e-travel portal at etravel.gov.ph at least 72 hours before arrival or departure.
Dateline Malacañang.
And that is all for today's Dateline Malacañang for Radyo Pilipinas World Service. This has been Bea Gaza.
From the Presidential Palace, Manila, Dateline Malacañang.